listeners, this is Unlock the LSAT, and you're listening to The Key. So today I wanted to talk about how to identify your ideal law schools, and I'm going to first give you some questions to consider for yourself, and then we'll go through a hypothetical, and we'll use one of my favorite tools within lawhood. So yeah, let's go ahead. Questions to ask yourself. How far are you willing to relocate? How far are you willing to commute? Like I've told you from my own personal journey, I had a total daily commute about 3 hours. I was full-time, so at my school I had class Monday through Friday. So you should be considering your commute time. In terms of relocating, consider that there will be out-of-state tuition for law schools a lot of the time. So that's something you want to keep in mind, especially when you're talking about an upper level, like maybe T14. A lot of them are up north. Like if you're down south or the West Coast, considering one on the other side, that might not be very wise. You want to look at these things and see, because there are T14s on the West Coast, I think. Don't quote me on that, I haven't checked. But yeah, you need to keep that in mind. How much money do you have saved already? There could be things that come up and you want to be prepared for this. I'd say, and yeah, it's good to have a little bit of money set aside so that while you're waiting, that's not going to hinder you from making sure you have your books and all that different type of stuff, because they are pretty expensive. But yeah, have at least some amount of money saved prior. That's ideal. And keep in mind, like, maybe what is this money for? Yeah, it's just good to have multiple backup plans. Like, you want to make sure you have enough money in case, there's some type of delay with any of your funding for whatever reason. And the next thing, if I want to improve my score, if you're still working on your LSAT, is this looking like it will happen anytime soon? And then what is your most reasonable goal score for your time frame? So I do advocate for not rushing through, not winging the LSAT, but there might be reasons why you're pretty set on going to law school at a specific time, especially if you're pretty disciplined already, and it's just, you've done at least even above average on the LSAT, and you're like, okay, well, this is decent. It might not be like John Brown who got a 176, but I'm me, and I know that I'm ready to not go into a law school atmosphere. And then consider, do I have the time and money to invest in getting a higher percentile score? So when I talk about this, I'm not talking about paying for prep. The Law Hub, if you have fee waiver, will provide you with at least 1 year, and then you have to pay again if you keep on staying longer, which is about 120-ish last time I checked. So you want to think about that. And then the test itself, like I've mentioned before, is about in the $240 to $250 range right now. So those dollars add up. I have not paid out of pocket for the LSAT officially, any of my official tweets that I had. So, and I'm pretty much on the limit. I am literally on the limit at the time of recording this. So very, very interesting stuff. I have to tell you guys about that at some point in the future. But yeah, so do you have the time and the money? Some people, they invest all their time into studying for this test that they just sacrifice their income and their livelihood. Maybe they're living with family or something like that. But you should be making sure you have money to help out people around you in the case something is delayed for them, or they temporarily let go for a job. You should have some type of plan to make sure that you're not fully throwing yourself into this test and neglecting your responsibilities as a mature adult. So, yeah, you don't want to get too caught up in the hype on getting some upper level score when your financial situation is completely different from someone else's who can do this another way. And then part of that is just time management as well, because you can juggle to some degree both, but I don't know. I think it's still a case-by-case basis, but people will tell you that you can do both and get a very high score. All right, number 4, do I have the organization, time management, and discipline for law school this time? This is super big when it comes to deciding to end your LSAT journey, because if you are organized, have a good handle on your time management, and you're very disciplined, and get at least like a 166 hypothetically or something like that, you might be ready to go into that environment. And like I'm going to go ahead and show you, there should be some way for you to be able to get into a place and come out financially stable for the most part, as long as you continue to go into that space and excel. This mixing success and excel. But yeah, so once you go into that space and excel, you should be good. And how long am I willing to put off this decision in terms of like concretely deciding, okay, where do I want to go? When do I want to stop taking the LSAT? You know, we're not really supposed to put a timeline on this thing, but to some degree you want to be wise at the same time. Maybe I don't really like when people discourage people from pursuing this, but after a while, I don't know, if you're stuck in the 120s or 130s, below 130s, and you've been studying for like maybe 2.5 years, I might be telling you, yeah, you might want to forget this or look at the alternative paths that we have out here now, the JD next, and the GRE. I've took the GRE before, sidebar, and I didn't do too well, but I was kind of told by my master's program to just go ahead and take it so I can get into my program that I wanted to go in years ago. And I had just now finished my senior thesis or something. Yeah, senior seminar, and I didn't study for it. I just went in because she said to just take it. And I was disappointed in those scores, but that test was so long too, so I was just like, yeah, regardless, this was a long thing, and if it's not that crucial for my experience, then I don't want to retake it. Once you have an LSAT score, the GRE becomes very much less significant, if they even consider that at all. And then, like, if you're stuck in the 120s or 130s for some odd reason, but you do feel like you have the capability, other schools might have alternative entrance exams. I think that might be a little bit more popular at the non-AB accredited schools, but you have to do your research. And also, I'd say, oh yeah, there's reader programs depending on where you reside. I think Virginia is one of those states, and you know, you should be quite familiar with California, especially with Kim Kardashian years ago doing that alternative path. But it sounds a little bit easier than it could go in terms of like making those connections to find an attorney to work with in the first place. So yeah, these are some things that we're gonna want to consider before ending your LSAT journey, before considering your law schools that you want to apply to. And yeah, so now we're going to go ahead and go into we're going to go into this hypothetical. I was clicking, it wasn't moving, I don't know why. Okay, so hypothetical client here, Sarah. I have not heard from anybody that watches the videos that I post, but I thought that this would be an interesting idea because some people really panic and they really feel like they have to invest in what do you call those? An admission counselor or consultant. Oh my God, what word did I just say? An admission consultant. But you don't really need to. It could be possible to do this solo, and it really gets you used to being autonomous. Um, and perhaps if you decide to do something like that, you don't have to spend as much money when you do your work up front. Like maybe you're not a good writer, but maybe you can do your basic research to figure out what law schools do you want to consider on your radar. All right, so hypothetical client, Sarah. This is not anybody I know. This isn't anyone that I've seen online post their stats. If it happens to correlate with someone that's an accident, because I have no clue. I just put these together. I actually recorded this yesterday and it did not go well. Like I spent an hour and it was amazing. I felt I made some like live discoveries and I was like, wow, I don't know what to say about this. But when I closed my computer, the computer died, the recording was lost. And I was like, oh my God, that was amazing. But it's gone. But you know, everything happens for a reason. So this hypothetical client, Sarah, she lives currently in Jefferson City, Missouri. LSAT score is a 162, and her GPA is a 3.43. Wonderful GPA. I'm definitely jelly. Mine isn't that high. And, you know, this would just be the undergrad for her. Potential, because you don't include your graduate GPA, unfortunately, that really sucks. So her potential law interests are something along the lines of IT, AI, technology-related law, and some other considerations in her shoes is that she won't relocate beyond a neighboring state, and she has some savings and strong ties to parents who can help. These are just some things that I want to put in here because of how I'm going to work with the site to be able to show you how you can like go about calculating. But like that last one is so helpful when you have parents that are supportive, things of that nature. Okay. So now I want to go to the next page. Alright, so it's her. She's in Jefferson City, Missouri. I think that's the capital of Missouri. And the search radius, I've put this hypothetical box around. So you have a little bit of Indiana. Wait, I don't think I put that on my list for her, hypothetically. So these are all the local states. Predominantly, it would look like you would more want to be looking on this side, so these immediate places, so beyond Missouri, Illinois, around this area, Iowa, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Arkansas. Not really the other things, but I did put that on the list. So she's willing to consider Missouri #1, Illinois after, Kentucky 3rd, Kansas, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Arkansas, Iowa, Nebraska. I think I did leave off Indiana. But yeah, Indiana's a little bit further from Illinois anyway. Alright, so I think I'm done with this. Cool. Alright, so we're going to go over to law school transparency. And like I mentioned, the site used to look like this, but now you have to go into log for some reason. Before I could just look it up and it'll just pop up. Alright. So she lives in Missouri. And I'm telling you, I did not do any footwork before doing this. Yesterday I did a freestyle. That's what prompted me to create that PowerPoint today, to kind of like put some things in an order that someone doesn't walk through the hypothetical because maybe they're like me and feel pretty self-reliant. But anyway, so this is a school that we can consider for her. She's going to be going full-time, hypothetically. And then you see that they have the Missouri options here. We have a Kansas option. We have an Illinois option popping up, and an Arkansas option popping up as well. And ideally for this run through, I would not be looking at things in Kansas or things in Illinois or Arkansas, because I think it's pretty likely that there's going to be out-of-state tuition. Yeah, let's go ahead and start with her neck of the woods. First of all, University of Missouri School of Law. Wonderful employment score of 81.1%. Underemployment score at about 6.8% for your 2024 grads. These do change once the 2025 results come out. And we have first-time bar passage rate of about 83.3%, and it does remain pretty consistent. There has been a slight decrease here, but I expect that it'll probably go up when 2025 comes around. I'm not an expert, but it looks like this chart is pretty consistent. Resident tuition of about $25,051. Out of state is not a concern for her because she does live in Missouri. Fold up. Oh, yeah. So also, resident tuition tends to be, you have to be in the state for a year. So if you have not been in the state for a year, just start, you will have to pay out-of-state tuition. So that's a big thing to consider. All right. So fold up tends to be about $177,198 for the school. And overall, that would be for someone perhaps who is not getting any scholarship, about $2,199 per month for 10 years. Definitely not an ideal place to be. 24.8% pay full price, and 37.6% receive a discount of around $23,000 if they do or more. 52% acceptance rate. And when we're talking about hypothetical Sarah, her 162 falls at least above the 50th percentile for the school, or the median rather, the median. And her GPA falls below their 25th, 25th percentile for the GPA. She falls slightly below 0.01. With that, about 119 students. All right, so this is all of the info here. Let's say she wants to work at a small law firm. That's about 15.2% of the job outcomes here. And I want to go straight to the financials. This is what's very, very important. I've already looked at this yesterday. I really did love this pie chart. I think it's one of the most ideal that I've seen before, because sometimes you'll see like a good chunk, like half of the school is paying full tuition, and like some aren't even just getting a 177,000 plus that. They're getting like 200,000, 300,000, 400,000. That reminds me of what my priority is for pulling up the other school instead of going through these lists, because I really did it like, oh, hypothetically, if I was Sarah, which one would be not a good idea? And that was an experience. And non-resident is 31,351. The problem with being a non-resident is also you have to worry about relocation costs as well, and that's not fun. And then let's say you live with people that have people, you live in their transportation. When you end up in a new environment, then you might need to buy a car, and that's going to be extra up as well, or get a used car. But as my own personal experience has shown me, it's ideal not to have a used car, especially one that might have a lot of issues, because that can hinder the smoothness of your law school experience. All right, so Anybody about the 50 percentile score for the school can expect about a $23,000 tuition discount. And this is the debt projection calculator there for these bars. So she's a resident. We're going to go ahead and move this as closely as we can get to a $23,000 discount. 20,000 is our discount. 25.1. No, she didn't have quite the numbers to get her there. So we'll say about 5,000. I'll round down about $5,000. She'll be getting in loans for. I think it's that's per year. And cost of living, 21,464 regular. We're gonna go ahead and move that down because she is. What did I say? Some savings, strong ties, parents who can live. Maybe who can help. Maybe she lives at home. So we're gonna bring this down, not all the way down to 0, but at least about here. So about $4,292. This is the most ideal, but you will be able to kind of figure out the difference it makes in terms of even if you are paying a higher cost of living than this. I just want you to be able to see what it looks like. So we have the debt service of 9.3% over 10 years. So that means that she could potentially pay this off if she increased her payments to about 2,000 something. I did the math originally yesterday. I don't have the paper there, but if she pays about $2,000 per year, or not per year, per month, she could come a lot closer to paying this off in about a year or a year and a half. All right. And then she wants to at least get about a $33,000 salary in order to be able to pay. Wait. I don't remember what this was. It should be 15%. Oh, okay. So I'm like, I had a number that gave me about her getting it paid off in about a year if she puts her max payment, or a max payment of about 2,000 something. I think it was like 2,500 per month. She would be closer to paying this off in about a year. But $33,000 obviously won't do it. And then you have a plan your budget. I'm not locked in. And I'm not in Missouri, so that's not relevant to me. So the next part is so important for this, these salaries. So they're estimated getting about 59,716. I think I rounded up to $60,000. They're getting this about the first full year calendar after graduation, so that's pretty excellent. Let's go ahead and bring up the calculator. $60,000. Oh, no, I don't know what I do. Let's do, what's the debt? This is just in her instance, in this case. Okay, I shouldn't round this down to 30,000 because I rounded up by about $1,000, so that'll create like a discrepancy there that's a little bit too big. So I guess I can round it not fully to 30,000, but instead I'll do 3,400. So let's say 6. what am I trying to calculate? She's making about $60,000 a year. I'm trying to help her pay this off at least in 1 year. Hopefully, there's nothing random happening, but I would like her to pay this off in a year. Because this is considering those years that she's already there. So then we'll have to kind of consider her additional cost of living to just even survive. And that year, her living situation is the same, about $5,000. So I guess I can round this up instead to 40,000. Yeah. And she'd have $20,000 left. Okay, nice. All right, so what I need to do is recalculate if she's going to be paying this off sooner. Let's say that, like I said, she's at about 5,000 cost of living after graduation with this 34,390 in debt. I need to figure out how much she would be having to set aside per month. 40,000. Then we have taxes. I didn't consider taxes before, but I probably should do that. 40,000 divided by 12 months. $3,333 setting aside. And how much is she getting per month? $5,000. So she has about $2,000-ish to spare. Let's see how far this is on. She's paying maybe $6,000 in tax, or about $6,000 in tax coming out every year. 54,000 minus 40,000, $14,000 in miscellaneous expenses or anything random happening. Yeah, this could be done in a year with discipline. When I was in that first semester of that law school, the dean that was there when I first joined, he was like, if you live like an attorney while you're a student, you'll be living like a student when you're an attorney. So just make sure that you stick to a good budget while you're in school and while you're out of school, and you're reasonably being able to make it and be out of that debt, perhaps in about a year or at least 2, maybe at max 5 years, but I don't think you're going to need to be in debt for those 10 years unless something happens. Something else I wanted to mention. Oh, okay. So although we're looking at these, I've rounded, considered that, she is above this 50th percentile by 2 points, at least for the 2024 academic year. But perhaps she could write a strong personal statement and other things to that, or add other things to the application that will strengthen it, and perhaps even get her closer to a 75th percentile tuition discount, and that would help her tremendously. And then there's other scholarship things out there that if people apply, they might be able to get. The only other thing is this school is doing these conditional scholarships, so that's another thing to keep in mind. She'd want to make sure her grades are pretty solid so that she's not at risk of losing this conditional scholarship. All right, another aspect to consider is that there was no academic dismissals in about this 2023 to 2024 school year, but only 3% dropped out, reasons unknown, and then 1.7% had transferred out. And the bar passage rate, we already saw that was good. And you have some things you can look around and see. The vast majority is coming straight from Missouri. And like I did the circle, we're seeing that there's these specific states that are prone to go to the school here. Even Florida, I'm not sure why. Mission, they don't consider GRE or JD Next, it seems. Other paths, perhaps. Okay, all the undergrad program. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, someone would want to do the research and see about that even before maybe doing their LSAT programs or LSAT studying to see if there's a way, if they were undergrad there, that they have an easier path to being admitted. That might also include strong funding because they were already there. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the website. I have gone ahead and checked this out prior. I did really love how the website looked. It's number 57, at least on the website at this time. That is not a T50 because it's not within the T15 to T50 range, but it's not a T100 at the same time. At least that's my understanding of it. Maybe it is, I don't know. But it's not that high ranked, but it's not that low ranked at the same time as well. And I'm sorry if I'm scrolling too fast. I like to get moving. Graduate with minimal debt. An incredible legal education doesn't need to come with a hefty price tag. I'm not affiliated with the school. I'm just doing a tour with you guys with how to go through this process yourself. Mizzou, I hope I'm saying that right, law is ranked as the number 11 or the 11th best value law school by national jurists. We rank as a top 15 law school where you can pay off debt. According to U.S. News, 70% of Mizzou law students receive scholarships, and we have a $24,000 median scholarship amount. This is something I want to go back and revisit here because we did our calculations based on her getting a $20,000 discount with these whatever these things are called. These calculators, or I don't know if it's a calculator because it's not like a regular calculator. Anyway, 24,000 is different than 20,000, so she could even be as low as about 1,000 something, and then consider her cost of living. Okay, let's go back and we want to go through these, check out how to contact them, check the programs. Mizzou Law is an exceptional value and offers one of the most affordable legal educations in the country. Of course, you want to review your finances and consider the resources available. Ooh, they do federal work study? Oh, wow. I don't know. I've never really heard about that when it comes to legal education before, but that's definitely something you want to do. Okay, we have a guy there that you can talk to. Deadline for scholarship consideration. Financial aid brochure. Let's check this out. Ah, man, okay, it's not working. Interesting. We have to have account already. Yeah, there we go. I know this from when I was going to, or when I was in the application process years ago. But yeah, you need to have a residency 1 year, and that provides you an opportunity to improve your LSAT score and stuff like that if you really want to go to a specific school. But then that's kind of putting a lot on the line because you don't know like if they're going to accept you. You could come in with all the correct stats and then still not get in for whatever reason. We're looking here. Oh, remember I said that Sarah's LSAT score is 162? I'm telling you, I did not make these numbers up based on this prior. I have 2, 3, 3, 7, 8, 9, this is where people are coming from. Yeah, but she does fall below the GPA, so it might not be a full 75th percentile type scholarship offer. She's facts. Yeah. We recommend that you take that June or October. That's the year before you want to start. So you have a score early enough to apply early in our rolling admissions cycle. Interesting. Okay, so now what I want to do is, I already did this, but we're going to go ahead and look up the distance between where Rachel is and the school. We don't have an exact address, but wildly enough, this should do it for us. I don't want to type the school. Nice, nice. And as you can see, it would be very much preferable to have a car than to be using public transportation because that is not it. That is ridiculous. But 34 minutes. I am checking this out on a Saturday at 12:09 p.m. Central, so this might not be completely accurate as far as the time commute, but it is better than an hour and something. So this is good. And then depending on what area this person is, hypothetically, they would be perhaps being a little bit closer to the school, maybe even 4 minutes. So it's legit in a half hour. Show us pictures. And sometimes we can do a virtual tour instead of going there, even though she lives in the state. But yeah, if she lives in the state and it's only a half hour, she should get used to the commute and see if it's actually feasible for her. Now I'm gonna go ahead and see if they have a virtual tour here. Like maybe you would visit, maybe you would see the building first and then maybe you would see something in the video that gives you pause before you
Hello, welcome to Mizzou Law. I'm Hal Gibbs. I'm a 2L here, and I'm going to take you inside Holston Hall and show you around and what the school has to offer. Our first stop here is the admissions office to help you with your application, scholarships, and everything you need to get started here at school. We're here at the career development office. They'll help you with job applications, editing your cover letters, resumes, helping you get internships in the summer, and set you up for career success after law school. Mizzou Law offers students a wellness room where they can come and sit on the couch, sit in the massage chair, and relax and de-stress from classes and studying for exams. Here at Mizzou Law, we have our own financial aid advisor that helps you apply for student financial aid, apply for scholarships, as well as any other financial issues that arise with being a law student. Now we're here in the courtroom that Mizzou Law offers, where we hold mock trial practice classes, as well as during the semester, the Court of Appeals will come and hold real proceedings here that students can watch. Next,
Wow, I am impressed so far. I think I am gonna let it run out though. I am gonna let it run out. I wanted to just show a little bit, but I feel like I'd want to go to the school. Just even looking at the tour, they chose a great person that seems to lead it. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and finish watch this. This is about 3 minutes, so if you don't want to see the school, then you can go ahead and fast forward about 3 minutes from now.
look at the academic spaces here in Holston Hall.
Hi, I'm Madison. I'm originally from Kansas City, and I did my undergrad at Iowa State University. I'm a 1L here at Mizzou, and we're going to learn a little bit more about academic life here at the law school. Let's head downstairs. Now we're in the lower level of Holston Hall, home to most of our academic classrooms. We'll be spending a lot of time down here taking a variety of different size classes. As a 1L, your classes will range between 15 to 60 people depending on the class. All first-year students take the same classes. I found that this makes it really easy to meet people, engage with the material, develop study groups and good habits in order to help succeed academically in your first year of law school. The lower level is also home to all of our organizations here at Mizzou Law. We have dozens of organizations dedicated to service, affinity groups, and areas of academic interest. This is a really great way to grow both personally and professionally. As a first-year student, you'll be spending a lot of time here in Holston Hall. To help make that a little more enjoyable, we offer a lot of resources, including our kitchenette with refrigerators, a coffee maker, and vending machines, as well as our fireplace lounge, which is great for sitting, studying, and just hanging out. Every student also gets a locker to store their personal items in during the day or for whenever they want. Next up, we'll head back upstairs and show you the library and study spaces here at Mizzou Law.
Hi, I'm Jessica Esquera, and I'm a second-year law student. Here at Mizzou, we have our own law library where you'll be spending lots of hours studying and doing research. Our Mizzou librarians are here to help you with all of your research needs. The law library has a lot of different kinds of study and research space, including open areas for you to study in big groups with your friends. The law library also has study rooms that you can reserve if you want to study individually or in small groups. You can also reserve a study carrel for the entire school year that you can use for your personal space at all hours of the day. Just steps away from the library is our faculty hallway, where the faculty have an open door policy to answer questions, provide mentorship, or give career advice.
Holston Hall itself is located in the heart of the University of Missouri campus, which is itself a registered botanical garden. Just a stone's throw away from the law school is the University of Missouri's Student Center, where students will find the bookstore and the food court. Just beyond that is the rec center, where law students will have access to all of the facility. Thank you for joining us on our tour of Mizzou Law. If you have any questions or would like to schedule a visit in person, you can contact our admissions office. MIZ.
That was cool. That was awesome. I cannot lie. Oh my goodness. Okay, wait. So it says we have a reimbursement program to help offset a portion of the cost of travel for those traveling long distances to visit Mizzou Law. Funds are potentially available to admitted students whose travel to visit Mizzou Law will be more than 400 miles round trip. Please fill out the travel stipend application and email it to this person. Wow, that's good. They really sold me with that relaxation aspect right from the beginning. Like, I've already talked to you about my story. I don't live near this place, so I wouldn't go to this one. But yeah, I really like their setup there. I would be willing to travel, like if I was that person, this hypothetical person that lived 34 minutes away. I wouldn't hesitate to get into that environment myself and get a vibe for the actual people and talking with them myself. But yeah, this is good. Okay, I already pressed that. All right. Well, here's the curveball. Here's the curveball. So I'm going to close this out. And let's go to the Google review. I didn't watch the video the first time that I did this recording yesterday. So what's going on Google Maps is I think that they had a 4-star plus rating, but I saw a headline on Facebook. And it wasn't good. But I didn't know when I had started to record, and I was like, oh, wow, this one seems to be perfect for her. It's not going to have her in a lot of depth. Yeah, I put it in the GPS, and I was like, okay, it's 34 minutes. And then I was like, okay, I saw the rating, but I was like, okay, let me check it. I expected some basic things about how perhaps teachers don't do their job, or people can't find jobs, or the defense isn't as good as someone from another law school. I expected those types of reviews, but when I actually read it, then that's when I saw this detail, and then I was like, oh yeah, I remember seeing this person. I remember seeing that headline on Facebook as I was scrolling. So we are going to take a mini detour. Virtue of the location of the school. You know, it's a lot of different things that happen in that area. So originally, and the most striking thing for me was the fact that he disappeared later. Let's go ahead and zoom in. In 1938, Lloyd Gaines filed a lawsuit after being denied admission to the University of Missouri Law School in 1935 because he was black. The court ruled in his favor and required Missouri to admit him or set up a black law school. He disappeared 3 months later, never to be found. That is the worst part of that story. It had appeared that there might have been some type of scholarship in his honor, but I'm unclear. I think I had seen these are important things as you do your research. I'm sure even the higher tier schools have some shady histories at some point. Okay. Where did he get an honorary degree in admission to the Missouri bar that he never got the chance to use? Oh, because it says scholarship at the top. I clicked the link and then even look at the top here. Yeah, but apparently it doesn't seem like there's a scholarship, or unless maybe you go to apply and then you see it there. But these are the things you should do when you're looking into the law school. Check out the history, see what's going on, see what they've come through, and take these things into consideration as you write your personal statements and things of that nature. Commitment to ensuring that everyone is treated fairly, equally, things of that nature could be beneficial in a personal statement, if that's truly what you believe in. So, we've done that. And it's on here. I love their video tour. I literally, that's the first time I saw it. I saw this bad thing more so before that, and it gave me a lot of pause, but I do think they might be trying to remedy that for as much as they can. You know, you can't white out the bad that was done there, unfortunately. I'm talking about like when you literally use whiteout to like ink out something you wrote wrong. You can't, like, even if you use whiteout, it's still technically there underneath the surface. So yeah, but they're trying, and yeah, let's go ahead. Oh, okay. So unfortunately, there's another aspect where I think I had seen headlines, but I'm not gonna go digging any deeper because or not worldwide, but countrywide, there is lower amounts of Black law students and Black lawyers. So although they seem to not be allowing as much diverse people, they are trying to make sure that they're competitive at the same time. So from that aspect, it is kind of understandable, although it's not understandable. So yes. Okay, so that's the first school. Is it T57? I think I saw on there. Literally T57. Yeah, but it's still. I'd consider this one for Sarah. And I will say, if she's a person of color, she might want to make sure she has a good set of backups with this one, just by nature of some of the things I had seen about people trying to apply and not getting in. But let's go ahead, and I'm going to open up a separate tab, and we're going to go ahead and check out Chicago law. So they have like two with a similar name. I think this is the one I wanted to see. This is a lower tier site. And then it's also out of state, so that's a big thing. Wow. Every time I see that, I get shocked. It gets better. I'm going to take a little bit of a detour here. Okay, I wish I could like put some big red box on this, because this is just crazy. I know you're looking at these big top beautiful numbers up here, but this is not it. And 25% of people are paying this full price. And you know, just like people studying the LSAT, and there's like apparently this median of a certain score, a lot of the times people don't just end up landing in the mid 150s. They end up in the lower scores. And compared to an LSAT score where you can continue to modify and work on it, if you land in a bracket that's below this median, then I don't really know if you can expect a $100,000 jump. Because this school, I presume they're pretty much accepting the best, but even so, some people are not getting this amount here. And then you gotta be very careful with your paybacks on this, because if you miss payments on this, wow, I just don't know. And then you have the cost of living on top of trying to pay back your debt. And then not many people are getting the full tuition. a good portion of these people are having a good amount of money to pay back here. Let's just put hypothetically, somebody comes in with a 50th percentile score here. We get a $40,000 discount. They're landing about here. And let's say the cost of living remains the same. I'm not going to change it here. $293,894. Do not miss your payments, because that's not going to be fun. Let's play around with the cost of living. Even so, this on top of, yeah, okay, I believe the cost of living is from being in the school. So I was just kind of thinking in my mind, have I said something incorrect? Is this talking about like in the future after you graduate? But regardless, I think that this is too much money. This is scary. Let me check out. So they say that 174 is like the high. That shows 174, so $42,000 discount. I don't know what's going on. It doesn't really move that much because they don't really give that much to. Like, how much of this is closer to 99% instead of closer to a little over 50%? Not shading the school. What ranking is this? This might be a elementary school. I don't know. Actually, it might not be because their employment and bar is great. I don't really follow rankings, so if it's so obvious, okay, they're number 10. I had a slight suspicion with these things that they're probably good, but I don't know why this lady would leave Missouri to come for this. She's gonna have to relocate, make sure she has proper transportation, make sure her discipline and everything remains the same. Wait, let me see if there's any dismissals. This kind of, I think it's on the very end for a bigger tier, but let's see. Okay, yeah, there's nothing here. Okay. So I am going to be doing this. This is not it. And the scholarships aren't conditional, but 25% of people are paying full price. And only a little bit of people are getting more than full tuition. And it doesn't really have a separate, there's a separate indicator for if you have full tuition given to you, and that's not here at all. Alright, okay. Well, let me go back over to the main one that I was actually comparing to the University of Missouri for Sarah, hypothetically. Tuition is $81,069 per year. Full tap is $455,789. And I did kind of neglect the fact that her stats are completely out of bounds, but I did want to go ahead and show that even if she continues to work on this and get herself into 173 or 175, 17.3% are paying full price. And let's go over to the financials here. They have the same thing going on. I don't see full tuition only. I'm seeing more than full tuition, a very small percentage. And then 50% to 99% is super small as well. And then we have most people getting less than 50%. $15,000 discount on the $81,069 tuition. Let's go ahead and look at how that looks. And our person, hypothetically, Sarah, she maybe tries, she might be able to get a little reduction, but I wouldn't even be able to show you the stat difference, but it's somewhere in between these two numbers, maybe about 400,000 she'd end up at and totaled up. But nah, this is not it. This is not worth it. And like I'm saying, same way people struggle to get to the median score with the LSAT sometimes, depending on who they are, chances are people could end up being that unfortunate minority that does not get, by minority I'm meaning like they just end up not getting that type of career that lands them closer to the median for whatever reason. So that's not great. Let's go back here for a second. Because their median pay is a little bit better. A lot better. That was a little bit lower, but still high in general. $210,979. Well, if somebody is stubborn about going to a top-tier school, I guess they should more prefer to look into this one, which is interesting because I think that this one is. Wait, let me not say them. Double check. Sure. You're number 3. Yeah, I wouldn't go for Chicago over this. Look at their median for Northwestern, although it's tier 10. Yeah, I'd probably more look at this than that one. And then let's compare the financial chart here. Snaky stuff. I don't know. I think you do see people paying less full price, but for the most part, it's a lot of people paying or getting less than a 50% discount, whereas this is more balanced, so you have more of a likelihood of getting at least close to 99%. You come in with a solid score, but all right, so let me close these out and let's go ahead and focus back on Missouri. Yeah. So we looked at pretty much from what I had looked at yesterday, the best bet. And we're going to compare that with another one. I wish it would just show me Missouri. Washington University. I don't like these because, or I don't like the idea of where you see that your numbers are falling completely out of range. Unless you're going to continue to study, I don't even think you should entertain even looking at those for a second. But let's see what's going on here. Oh, that's a little bit better. But in terms of her personal competitiveness, she doesn't really stand quite a chance to get into a better spot where she's getting full tuition or more than full. At least it's less likely that she'll be stumped with a whole $381,000 up, but she'd be better off just sticking to the other one in Missouri. This one. And then you have to keep in mind some are private schools and some are public schools. All right, I'm a little bit all over the place, but I want to check one where her stats are competitive to show you how it's probably not a good idea, although her stats are good. So they do have a good employment score, and first-time bar passage rate. Full DAP is lower by 302,887.8 are paying full price, which is nice. 49.6 receive a discount of some kind, and they have a 62% acceptance rate. Her LSAT falls above the 75th percentile, and her GPA is at least above the 50th percentile here. Financials. This is a nice small chunk for people paying full price. Some people are getting full, and some people are getting a little bit more than full. But based on what I'm seeing, she might be likely to get about a 70 percentile type discount because her GPA is a little bit lower than the 75th percentile GPA. Although she's above the 75th percentile for the LSAT. And I'm not an admissions person, I'm just looking at these charts. Like, they have provided these charts for us to look at and to make our decisions for ourselves. $35,000 looks to be about what she could expect, so discounted. So leaving her about 21,028. Let's say that she's still having that same cost of living. It's not as pretty as the other school. Not as pretty. Yeah, if she want to do this one, I'd recommend she continue to study the LSAT. And how are the salaries looking? 71. That's not that comfortable. Let me make sure. Check the payment. She has to monthly $70,000. Oh, and the target salary they have for us is $98,000. Nope. Nope. Okay. And I understand what this means now, because the monthly payment, you want to see if it makes sense that you could have this much money and pay that for 10 years. But ideally, you don't want to have to be committed to, like, oh, I have to pay this for 10 years. Let's see how we can reduce that. And this isn't looking like a good choice, at least for this applicant. Yeah. All right. There was one more thing we wanted to go ahead and look at, and she was interested in IT, AI, technology-related law, and we're going to go ahead and double check that the school is doing anything related to that. And here we have it, intellectual property, technology, and entrepreneurship. And that's not a group that is going to have classes that are merging on all of these. It's literally different sections that are somewhat related to each other. So she would be able to find some classes that will help to pique her interest that she's targeting. So this is exactly how you can do this. You don't really need to spend too much money, if you spend money at all, on admission counseling, because you have all of these tools at your fingertips. And different schools do things differently, and you might get conflicting advice. And I am not a stop point to and listening or getting information from. But I do see that there's a fun experience you can get from taking your time and seeing how you can make the best of these resources, especially if you're getting from the Law Hub Advantage And actually, I'm not even signed up. So even before you start to consider law school, you can look into these, especially when it comes to your diagnostic. You could do an estimation of how long it takes people to see progress in their LSAT scores. But sometimes those are coming straight from LSAT prep companies. The average measurement take to see 10 point increase. And it does change from when like you're in the lower score, like 120 random, and then when you're in the 150s, and then when you're in the 160s, and so on. But let's just see what AI says. Several months. So this is something to keep in mind about how long it will take. All right, guys. I hope that this helps you. And if you want any help, feel free to send me an email. I am pretty busy with my own stuff right now, but I don't mind helping others, especially if it's like simple questions, or if you have any things that you'd like me to talk about. I do plan to do or release some actual LSAT prep advice soon, but not too soon. But yeah, keep on studying and keep striving to do your personal best. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye for now.